Hey everybody, today we're talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum and the importance of giving you the ability to take out loans for yourself. Meaning you don't have to go to the bank, you can be your own bank by having your own crypto reserves. And it's really interesting because when you think about trying to sell your long-term assets and paying the tax and doing all that fun stuff, you realize that a lot of opportunity comes between trying to sell up at the top, but if you're going to end up taking out a loan later on with that crypto, you're better off taking out that loan on like the downside, on the biggest bearish dips, to limit your downward risk, right? To keep that loan to value ratio up. So if you're selling, you're trying to sell up here. But if you're long-term holding and you're comfortable taking out short-term, low-risk debt because it's collateralized with your crypto, you're going to take out that loan when crypto prices are down. It's kind of counterintuitive, but I find it absolutely fascinating. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Thanks for joining. If you guys are excited to talk about a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of Ethereum, and all the fun stuff that's going on right now in the crypto space, go ahead, tap that screen for me. Let's get this live rolling. We're going to be going for a little bit today. Haven't gone live in a while, so I thought I'd say hello. Come on in. So yeah, anybody that's been following me for any amount of time knows that my primary focus of research when it comes to cryptocurrency... Oh, let's see. Oh, something just came in there. Anyways, so my biggest focus is obviously going to be between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Thank you so much for the likes. Keep those coming. Hello from Ohio. Well, welcome, Ohio Unicorn. That is fantastic. I'm up here in Wisconsin. So, a little bit colder than you, maybe? Possibly. I've been to Ohio maybe once or twice in my life, and I know it gets plenty cold there too. So, anyways, so talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and basically the main cryptocurrencies. The reason I focus on the big cryptocurrencies... Oh, I trust you. Absolutely. The Midwest gets cold all the way through. But with cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, I often talk about probably too much. But my main reason is because I'm such a long-term investor in it, not only for their growth, but because they're going to be the first ones that are going to be adopted by the large lending institutions. And that's hugely important if you understand taking out loans, collateralized loans, in order to, one, avoid paying taxes or limit paying your taxes in a legal way. Taking out loans based on your cryptocurrency has been a huge tool for that, and that's oftentimes what the wealthy have been doing for decades. Now, obviously not on crypto, but they do the same thing with their stock portfolio, their special insurance policies that they have, and a lot of people like you and I probably grew up not knowing that those were even options. And cryptocurrency actually brought me to the space of finance almost at the same time. And I kind of got to learn that the importance of, hey, if lenders are going to allow me to take out a loan on this, that it's a more powerful asset than assets where they don't allow you to take out those loans or maybe have higher interest loans. And for how new it is, Bitcoin-backed loans and Ethereum-backed loans are incredibly low rates. Depending on your loan-to-value ratios and how you set it up, and trust me, it's not that complicated. I know it sounds complicated. Get familiar with it. So I primarily use either Celsius or BlockFi. I know some people have issues with Celsius. I've not run into an issue yet. If you want to check out the links, go ahead, check out my link tree. I have links for referrals and all that fun stuff. If you don't want to use my links, that's fine too. I'm just here to kind of educate and let people know that this strategy exists. Shiba to the moon? Absolutely could be. Absolutely could be. I have nothing against people that are into little meme coins and stuff. To me, that's a little bit more of a gamble. Most of the people that I talk to about that, they just understand that the volatility is there, and they're hoping to catch the volatility to the upside. So I wish you the best of luck. I've been getting into Bitcoin and Ethereum for about 5 years now. I understand the volatility. I understand the value proposition for both of them. So I stick to investing in what I know. So I'm not invested in some of those coins only because I like what I like, right? So I have nothing against people who do like the smaller coins. XRP, I actually hold a bag of XRP for the last 5 years. I made one single purchase of about $800 5 years ago, and I'm just holding on to it. It's either going to do something or it's not. And to me, it's not exactly throwaway money, right? It's a good chunk of money, but compared to my overall portfolio over the years, XRP is a very small holding. So anyways, if you guys like anything between Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, hell, I also hold Decentraland. If you're a big fan of the metaverse, any of those coins, make sure you're letting me know what coins you like down in the comments. Tap that screen, give me some likes if you could. They mean so much to me to get this live party going. And of course, let me know if you have any questions. And once again, typically I stick to the bigger cryptocurrencies, the top 10, the top 15 of what I pay attention to. Not necessarily I invest in all 10 or 15, but those are the ones that I could probably talk about a little bit more candidly and have a valid opinion on. If you're going to ask me about, all the little coins down at the bottom, I'm going to be clueless, and I'm going to tell you that I'm going to be clueless because I don't spend much time worrying about those. I let them kind of get a foothold first, and then I'll invest in the coming years. But I've had a lot of people ask me too if once I'm getting out of Bitcoin, Ethereum, or not getting out of, but not investing quite as heavily, because it's understood that the more adopted they get, the less growth they will have over time. They'll become more stable, which is fine. That's a sign of a good long-term investment. What coins will I be getting into after that? And I actually have a little bit of a list. But starting off with Solana, I think Solana has a really interesting start with the way that whole system kind of works. But the most important thing that Solana has is it actually follows the same trend, the same growth trend that Ethereum had in its last bull run. So you're actually seeing similar price modeling and price structure that it has, and all that comes from network effect, meaning how many people are using that network. And I think Ethereum's high gas fees, even though it's being resolved in the near future, I think it's allowing Solana's ecosystem to really take hold. And I don't think you're going to be able to take that away from them. Along those same lines is going to be Terra Luna. Terra Luna is another great coin. Once again, guys, I don't hold any Solana or Terra Luna currently. That doesn't mean they're bad investments. And if you got in, that means you're getting in before this guy. So that's absolute bragging rights. Awesome. Good on you. Besides Terra Luna, I'm also looking in the bear market. If we see a severe bear market, don't know how this is going so far with this lengthening cycle that we're seeing. Quant is going to be a huge player in my portfolio. I'm thinking maybe 5 or 10% because it takes care of a type of, let me get rid of that. It takes care of like a type of utility service that not a lot of coins in my current portfolio really handle. So I want to make sure I have that covered, and Quant seems to be a good token for that. Vector Space AI is another one that I'm looking into. I have the confidence that I'm going to be adding it to my portfolio. I don't have the confidence to tell you what percentage I'm going to shoot for in my overall portfolio. What do I think of HBAR? HBAR, and I'm sorry guys if I'm missing your questions. I don't mean to. For HBAR, I'm interested in it. However, it's going to take a while for me to get my head around exactly HBAR's purpose. I'm a big fan of Crypto Weatherman. He's obviously a big fan of HBAR, but we differ in the overall ideas of how HBAR is going to become big. I started my whole crypto journey in the whole decentralized world, right? I mean, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they were the most powerful. They were the revolution because they were decentralized. HBAR is undoubtedly not decentralized, and its corporate governance council that it has really has the backing of the idea of like a dystopian nightmare kind of thing with everything being controlled by corporate CEOs and things like that. However, the non-crazy version of that is that they have the backing, they have the acceptance in a society that how do I want to say, capitalism really accepts regulatory bodies. And when you have that much acceptance from that much high-ranking officials on the governance council, it should catch your ear. I think HBAR has shown some promise, but I'm not entirely sure yet if I'm going to add that to my portfolio or if Quant will kind of serve as that kind of utility for my portfolio. But it's under consideration for sure. What do you think of gas to trade coins? If we're talking like specifically Ethereum gas, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. But as far as swapping coins and using up like the ether gas and all that, yeah, I think that definitely needs to come down. Ethereum, without a doubt, has ridiculously high gas fees. But I also think it's really misunderstood because it's under super high demand, right? No other ecosystem, no other smart contract platform is under the demand and the stress that Ethereum is currently handling without fail, right? Now, we may say that it's failing because, oh my gosh, look, the gas fees are going up and up and up. But it's going up and up and up because of the stress on the system. We can't say that any other smart contract platform, that they can handle the load that Ethereum is under. They can say it theoretically. They can run a test net, they can run it and kind of make that claim, but until you actually see it in the physical world actually being used and it's keeping up with the demands, I have a hard time believing that there's a lot of current projects out there that can do what Ethereum is doing with those gas fees. So once again, it's being fixed, but I think Ethereum's really powering through a lot of that. Hey, 1.6 thousand people, or 1.6 thousand likes. Thank you so much. Keep that love coming. Make sure you guys are tapping that screen. Check out my bio. I just pumped out a whole bunch of new videos because it's Friday. I usually try to pump out anywhere between 1 and 3 videos a day. And every once in a while I get a little carried away, and I hope you enjoy them. They range anywhere from crypto entertainment to news that I think you absolutely need to know about. And if I don't cover a news article that seems important, and it's like, oh, why is this guy not covering it? It's typically because I feel like it's being over-reported from all the other channels and stuff, and that's fine. If it is, I won't necessarily waste everybody's time. You're probably hearing it enough. But if it's something I feel is being underrepresented in the news or being misrepresented, I'll do my own video on it. I'll give my own take and my opinion. I'll also do some videos where it's just being fun. You know, I'll do some lip sync and stuff like that. So if you enjoy a little bit of crypto entertainment, a little bit of crypto news, I'll do some strategies and some things I know from an accounting perspective, especially with tax season coming up. And just from a financial understanding perspective of just little financial tactics that I'm aware of that I use. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a licensed accountant by any means. So all these things kind of come from my financial advisor, from my accountant, but remember, they're not yours. So this is just from my viewpoint. But anyways, I digress. Let's see. Let's get caught up on a few of these comments. Hey, spread love. Thank you. You too. You too. Thank you so much. I always try to keep it positive on my channel. Crypto acceptance. I don't care if you're in the quote-unquote shit coins or whatever. I don't make that judgment. That is your risk tolerance. Every crypto investor is welcome here on this channel. And if you have questions, make sure you leave them down below. Check out my profile and all that good stuff. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you for the likes. We are climbing with those likes. The Monkey NFT, I don't know too much about it. I know there's quite a few NFT projects out there that I am clueless on. I got into NFTs a little while back, but what I did is I set myself a limit of what I was going to spend. I hit that limit, and now I'm just kicking back and relaxing and seeing how the projects that I'm in develop. And the whole reason I got into NFTs is just because of anything else. If I didn't get into it, I would never understand it. I would sit off to the sidelines and I would say, why are people paying, thousands, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of dollars for these pictures that I could just screenshot? I really got to understand the NFT community, understanding the importance of Twitter, going into the Discord, and really understanding, there are some projects out there that are simply digital pictures, don't get me wrong. But NFTs themselves, people, entertainers, actors, I'm sure politicians, they're going to be a huge part of cultivating a community online in the future. So this art, NFT collections and all that stuff, they're going to speak to a certain subsection of people that are going to like the community, that are going to like the project that it's developing into, and that is what people are investing in. It's not just a picture in most cases. And heck, even now you got rights to music that you'll be able to use for commercials, things like that. I think the opportunities for NFTs are endless, but the monkey NFT, I don't know much about. Do I think that the stress is caused by a lack of miners? So the hash rate, if you're referring to the hash rate of Bitcoin, you will see a slight correlation between the hash rate of Bitcoin, meaning less mining, less miners and stuff going on, or maybe more, depending on where you're at in the trajectory of things. But you'll notice it has a direct impact on price. Maybe not a 1-to-1 ratio on it, but remember, if you're talking Bitcoin and the proof of work and all that wonderful stuff, the more secure it is, the more the big money investors are willing to put their money into it. Remember? So between you and I, it's plenty secure for you and I. It's plenty secure for the super wealthy. However, everyone always bases off of those charts in a relative manner. Like, oh, just a few months ago, it was way down here. I want to make sure that it's maintaining these high levels of security. So I believe once we really show that the miners are going to keep it at a hash rate that is comfortable for a lot of the high-level investors to get in, I think we're going to see in the next month and a half, we're going to see a lot of people with a brand new year starting out, brand new fiscal year, they're going to be comfortable getting into things like Bitcoin and, of course, Ethereum with Ethereum 2.0 coming out. But yeah, I think the stress caused by a lack of miners could have a small part in it, but I don't think that's the huge FUD of the day, honestly. Yeah, hey, KJVD, I absolutely agree. In fact, that is on my list. The Avalanche network is huge. It is doing very, very well, and that is on my bear market accumulation list. So yes, AVAX, good pick, in my opinion. Let's see. Saitama, I don't know what that is. Sorry. Once again, I mainly focus on the bigger coins, probably ones that a lot of people that are dealing with the smaller coins I might have never heard of. Baby Doge, once again, that's a meme coin. I can't really speak to its validity. Excuse me. But I guess in my opinion, I'm not going into and touching those, but that's just my strategy. I go with ones that I feel are a little bit less risky. So Baby Doge, it's new to me. You know, you have to really go with your gut on that one. Sorry about the pause there. So XRP, honestly, it all hinges on how the SEC resolves their dispute with Ripple Labs. And it really comes down to just get it done, right? Like, I cannot tell you how much I do not care if XRP is a security or not. You know what a security is? Like stocks. So if it falls underneath stock rules and all that stuff, that great. I don't care. I'll make my money or lose my money the same way. But it's this uncertainty in the market of XRP that creates this ceiling. It doesn't let it, bust out of its ceiling that it's had for, well, since the SEC started this mess. 1 second, guys. Let me plug this in. Otherwise, it'll die and I go away. I don't want that. All right. I think we're good. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah. So XRP next year, depending on when and how the SEC resolves their dispute, I think we could immediately see a jump up anywhere between $6 to $8. Okay? When I say immediately, I mean in the months following whenever that resolution happens and if that resolution happens. But yeah, that's just my general thoughts of where I think it'll go in the short term once this the SEC dispute is resolved. VBS, I honestly, between you and I've looked at it, but not enough to have a valid opinion just yet. Okay, so I'm gonna just hold out on that. Probably during the bear market, whenever, whether it's happening right now or I believe that we're just seeing a kind of like a midterm interim dip, and then going to continue up during the first and second quarter of this next year. if that is to happen, which I can totally be wrong, whatever. I play the long game. If I'm wrong, I just hold on to the majority of my crypto longer because I'm not over invested, right? So I kind of lost where I was talking, what I was thinking. So forgive me. Also, thank you guys. Just a quick reminder, make sure you're tapping that screen, giving me some likes, checking out my profile. I just put out a whole bunch of new videos. If it's something that you like with crypto entertainment, crypto news, crypto strategies, I answer questions about accounting and finance. Once again, I'm not a licensed accountant. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. However, I work with them on a regular basis, and I kind of pass on the general knowledge that I have onto you guys, and we just create a discussion around it. So it's nothing formal. I just like talking about crypto. I like talking about money and finance. So if you guys have questions, I believe there's still a Q&A link in my profile. Go ahead and leave me a question there as well. If it falls under stocks, then we can't get into crypto projects at the ground floor anymore. Correct. So it would be bad for the crypto market as a whole, as a budding industry, as it were. Absolutely. I'm talking merely in terms of XRP and Ripple that I don't care about how it comes out, right? So I'm not rooting for it to fail in this SEC debacle by any stretch of the imagination. But in the question that I was answering was just kind of particularly to the XRP coin itself. I don't think it'll really have an issue if it gets resolved one way or the other for the price of XRP. But yes, I would rather have it that Ripple Labs is deemed clear to go, that we're all set, and then obviously that gives the A-OK for a lot of other crypto projects that are trying to bud and grow to do the same that XRP did without having... Well, hold on. There we go. My stand had a little stroke there for a second. Forgive me. There we go. It's Friday. It gets a little tipsy just like we do, right? Okay. Wash trades in crypto. Why is this failing me? I think ever since I plugged in this cord here. Give me a second. And we're good. Let's see for how long, right? Wash trades in crypto are still legal this tax year. Good accounting tip for people with losses. Yes, that is what I understand. So for those of you that don't know what wash trading is, if you have an asset, let's just say Bitcoin, you have $1,000 in Bitcoin and you bought it recently and it dipped, right? We're in a dip, a downward trend. And let's say it goes down to $600. Man, I lost 40% on that deal so far. And of course, in most times, you wouldn't want to sell for a loss. What wash trading is you're able to sell it and instantly buy back that same asset so that on the books for this year, you show a realized loss, which will counterbalance your tax liability, right? So you make X amount of dollars, but it shows that you lost however much you lost on paper, right? So you're saving in taxes now. Right now, that is legal. I believe there is something that has been passed to fix that. So to my understanding, make sure when you're doing those strategies that you're working with a licensed accountant, that they can tell you whether or not it would be a good idea or bad idea for you to try and do that this year. But yes, how bizarre. Thank you so much for that reminder. Do you think Ethereum will drop to 3,500? I do. Even though I just got a little Coinbase alert here saying that it's back up to 3,850. I do think it's very possible. I think we could see Ethereum go down as low as 3,200. And I still wouldn't be concerned, honestly. But once again, I'm a long-term holder. I don't think that any kind of moves in the short term is going to be ruining anything for the long term. Let's see. Beard looking good, my man. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just kind of growing it out, and I'm not doing anything official, but I kind of have had the thought in my head that I'm not going to shave until I take a profit. So in 5 years, obviously I haven't been growing this beard for 5 years, but in 5 years I have not taken a profit on my Bitcoin or Ethereum at all. So what I'm thinking is I may, and once again, I'm not making an official announcement, I'm thinking that I will keep this growing until the point comes when I sell some of my Ethereum or Bitcoin. I don't know if any of you have been following me long enough, but I do have a cash out plan that the first time that I will take profit, is when ETH hits $5,000. Okay? I'm taking a small portion of profit compared to my overall portfolio, but I figured after 5 years starting buying ETH at $80, cashing out some at 5,000, it'll be nice for a little trip to pay some taxes, have some cash in the bank, stuff like that. Maybe that's when, but also if it happens relatively soon, I kind of want to keep it growing for the next few months. So that's why I'm not doing anything official, because I'd like to keep this puppy going. Thank you for the follow, How Bizarre. I appreciate it. You can see CNBC wash trade video in my profile. Hey, everybody, go check that out. If he has a video that explains wash trading and that's something that you're interested in doing, talk to your accountant, check out his video, get all the financial help that you can. There is no issue with reaching out for help with finances. My top 5 coins? Okay, yeah, I could do that. So right now, Bitcoin, Ethereum, those are obvious ones, right? I would say my next 3 are going to be Decentraland. I feel like you have to have something in the metaverse. You could sub this out for Sand. I'm a big fan of Sandbox too. But for my 3 so far, we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Decentraland. And just trying to think, I'm not going to put XRP, even though it's one that I hold. I'm not going to put it in my top 5 favorites, just because I don't know if it's my favorite yet. We kind of got to see the course that it's going to take. But I would say Solana and Terra Luna, and you could really, you know what? I'm not going to say Terra Luna. It's close. It's number 6. But I'm going to say Solana and Avalanche are going to be my 4th and 5th picks for that. So hopefully that helps you out. Just a reminder, make sure you're tapping that screen, giving me some likes. It's appreciated greatly. Check out my profile. Check out the new videos that I posted. I'm anywhere on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and of course right here on TikTok. So we are, when I say we, I mean me. I'm a solo outfit here. But I am branching out to those other platforms as well. Quant, I like it. I really do. Sambo, you're not wrong by saying that. It's hard when I'm trying to squeeze them all into just 5. I would say Quant just misses the top 5, if I'm being honest with you, but not by much. It is one of my favorite projects that I currently do not hold. So I want to be clear on that. I love it. I'm waiting for the bear market to see exactly how it's going to perform, but I am looking to get into it. I'm sorry, Quant did not make my top 5, but it's not far off. HBAR is probably in my top 10, top 15. Once again, I'm not one to really own a lot of different projects and coins. And my stand did it again. It's pulling a Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again. Okay, we got it. You jumping on the solo AD? Nope. HBAR, I've given my opinion on HBAR a bunch. Apparently there's a lot of interest in HBAR right about now. Yeah, what is happening? I think it's my little charging cord that's giving me an issue, so we're going to try without that for a second. Oh, hang on, everybody. We're going to get there. Okay. That's my fault. I knew I was going live and I didn't charge my phone this morning. Okay. But let's see. MetaHero. I do like the project of MetaHero. I really do. It's one that I need to learn a little bit more about. I have to dive into a project fully, read the white paper, do the whole thing. HBAR has a patent. It's so unique. See, and I know enough about HBAR between it and its governance council. It kind of depends on how the world goes as to how HBAR will be in demand. I like and dislike its governance council probably equally. You know what I mean? I like the power. I like the connection that it will bring to the corporate world, but I don't like the corporate power that it gives it. Very, very centralized governance council. But to go back to MetaHero, Nathan, I like it, but it's something that I have to look into a little bit more to get confident enough to even put a little bit into it. I'm definitely the guy that plays it safe. I mean, just a reminder, these are my main 2 investments. A lot of people in crypto would look at me and tell me how boring that is. I get that, but their main thing is that I can take out loans on these, reinvest those loans that outpace the interest, and that's what's really going to grab hold and develop my wealth over time. I don't know if Meta Hero will ever be a coin that people will have such confidence in that I'd be able to go out and take out loans. At least low interest loans. Obviously, high interest loans, you can back them with damn near anything. Let's see. Sandbox will take over. Yeah, I think Sandbox and Decentraland each have their validity. You know, they definitely have different parts to where Decentraland, it's going to be a preference, right? So it's getting into gaming, it's getting into what kind of world, how you want to represent yourself. And obviously the graphic style and stuff for all these types of metaverse games are still developing. But more importantly, the infrastructure, what they attach to, what you allowed to interconnect with these worlds are also developing. One of the reasons why I'm a big fan of Chainlink as well. I haven't really mentioned Chainlink. Chainlink and VeChain are also on my list of investing. But I think Chainlink is going to have some really interesting connections here in the next few years, especially linking with metaverse projects. Let's see. I hold Meta Hero. I think it's a bit of hype. Technology can't be used in any metaverse yet. So that's the risk that you take on when you get into those newer coins. They could essentially supplement, they could be the niche getting into those metaverse worlds, right? But if they're not, if there's a bunch that come in after that do it better, do it quicker, do it cheaper, all that other stuff, and they simply get adopted faster than what Meta Hero has, those projects and those concepts are so new that you could pick the right one at the time, but in the long term, you're going to have to worry about hopping from boat to boat to boat to get to the correct investment. That's kind of one of the reasons why it's almost like a lazy man's investment that I do. But, I mean, it still takes effort. But finding cryptocurrencies that have already been adopted and having my majority of my portfolio in those, it still offers incredible gains, right? But it's not like 1,000x. And I feel like at that point, that's when I lose most people. They glaze their eyes over and they're just like, well, if it's not 1,000x, what are we doing here? I'm just happy to have my 2-3x a year, whatever it ends up doing for the next few years. But I don't have to really hop and skip from project to project, if that makes sense. So, anyhow, but yeah, I know some people were a little bit more curious on crypto loans in general. I primarily use Celsius and BlockFi. I have the apps. I obviously use it on the computer as well. But yeah, you can get like 1% loans through them. And if you know what you're doing, I love to hop and skip. Hey, Crypto Weatherman, now I'm picturing you hopping and skipping, and also maybe giving me a whee every once in a while too. Hey, just a friendly reminder, I'm sure you're more aware of them than you're aware of this channel, but make sure you're going over and following Crypto Weatherman if you're interested in technical analysis. He's able to take any crypto projects and he takes a look at them from a technical standpoint and really breaks them down to what their potential is, short-term, mid-term, and long-term. So it really works depending on what your view of an investment is. Short-term, but I want it to go to the moon within a week or a day, or long-term like myself, where I know over the next few years, I'm looking at longer style trends. Anyways, thank you, Weatherman, for popping on in. What do you think is I know nothing about it, if I'm being honest with you. I know it's obviously a meme coin with Inu in it, but I don't know anything about it. Solana is starting to look like they are going to take over ETH. They have so many more projects. So, no problem, Crypto Weatherman. I appreciate it. Okay, so how bizarre. Talking about Solana, I think the high gas fees that we're seeing on Ethereum will definitely allow for places like Solana to grow and develop, right? The fees on Ethereum is just kind of choking it out so that everyday users such as you and I really don't get the opportunity to use it like we want to. Solana has a powerful, I'm going to say first mover advantage. And even though people argue, well, no, ETH has the first mover advantage, I understand where that's coming from. But Solana, when you get volumes of people that can afford and that are happy with the service that Solana provides, they get to use it repetitiously without worrying about the gas fees building up and basically running them dry. The more you get to use a technology, the more you're going to talk about it and encourage people that get into it, the more projects are going to be developed onto it. It has the ability to catch up to ETH in popularity. But I think by that time, ETH transitioning to ETH 2.0, they will fulfill two very different functions in the smart contract space, okay? But right now we're seeing a newer coin over here catching up to a similar coin over here. This may be for the more wealthy people that want to spend the crazy kind of money that it kind of means nothing to them, the Bored Ape Yacht Club people, all those guys. But, and that's going to make people and projects want to get into this, but it's hard to get into that, right? Because that's the more expensive route. That's the luxury route I think we're seeing develop over here. Over here, you're kind of getting the less luxury, but the more common use for the common everyday person like you and I. So I think Solana has a good chance of growing and developing into a healthy ecosystem. I do not believe they will be a ETH killer. I think they will be a ETH tolerator. Like, you know what I mean? They're functioning over here, ETH's functioning over here. They both do their own thing at different levels of industry. So hopefully that paints it. AW stock, Crypto Keeper, hey, another man that knows how to grow the beard in the crypto space. Hope that's coming in good for you. I know you shaved it a little while back, but glad to have you in here. Yeah, so I guess just in general, what I've been talking about is the crypto loan idea to avoid taxes legally, right? I will never condone not paying taxes in a non-legal way, right? Because if you're doing that, that's obviously going to get you in trouble. So within the rules of law, if you take out a loan on your assets, right, and it's a partial value, meaning loan to value, you have $100,000 worth of Bitcoin and I take out $25,000 worth of loan, but it's collateralized with that $100,000 worth of Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up in value, I'm not paying taxes on that loan. I'm using that money, I'm investing that money, I'm spending that money, however. But in order to get that $100,000 of Bitcoin back, let's say in a year, but in a year, that same amount of Bitcoin just rose in value to $150,000. I still only have to pay back that $25,000 loan to get $150,000 worth of Bitcoin. So not only does it kind of like cement your place in that asset to like, oh, okay, but it gives you liquidity to reinvest at a tax-free way, a legally tax-free way. So I wanted to clarify that. Just a quick reminder, I haven't said this in like a few seconds, so why not? Tap that screen, throw some likes on there. It's appreciated. Make sure you go over and you follow my channel. It's greatly appreciated there as well. I have links in my bio, so you can check out my link tree if you want to use or open up anything like Coinbase, BlockFi, Celsius. Check them out, see if it's right for you. I obviously never recommend just diving on in. You want to make sure that it's the strategy is working for how you want to invest, right? There's people that are high risk and buy the newest coins that come out there, and then there's dinosaurs like me that buy the oldest and the safest, the ones that have been tried and tested. So we accept everybody here, and I love just keeping the conversation going. Let me see. How about AMP? I do like AMP. I don't know anything about it. I'm being honest with you. I like it only from what I've heard from other people, but before I give a valid opinion, I have to, in good conscience, be able to take a look at the project myself, and I just haven't had time to do it. It is on my list to research. It's not on my list to add to my portfolio yet, but I would definitely leave it up to some other people to give you a better opinion on that. Ever hear of Copiosa? Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Hey, Jason, absolutely. I hope you learned something. If you want to stick around, make sure you hit that follow button. I have a Q&A. You can ask me questions there. I always just like keeping the conversation about crypto, finance, taxes, all that fun stuff for whatever weird reason, I just like talking about it. So I'm not trying to sell you a course. I'm not trying to get you to sign up for anything goofy. Every once in a while, if you like it, use one of my referrals. Yay, it helps out the channel. It helps me keep on going. But other than that, it's a mutually beneficial thing, right? Yeah, hey, Crypto Keeper, great part. So I'm assuming you're talking about the risks of the market dipping while taking out the loan, because that's what I was just talking about. Next.io, that's another good one, Jason. Yeti Crypto, is that on the Avalanche network? It might be a coin that I'm not familiar with, but it sounds like one that would be on the Avalanche network. But Crypto Keeper brings up a good point. So you have a loan to value ratio when you take out a loan on crypto. So once again, we have that $100,000 in Bitcoin, and you take out a 25% loan. When you take out that loan, that is a loan to value ratio, right? If all of a sudden you have a big dip and that $100,000 value in Bitcoin dips to $50,000, right? So it gets cut in half. Your loan to value ratio is now different. However, that's acceptable under the terms. For example, I'm using Celsius in my brain here. You get to set the loan to value ratio. So the lower that you do, so we're only taking, in this example, we're only taking a loan of 25%, 25,000 out of the 100,000. That will remain the same even if it dips 50% down to 50,000. Because the lender, if you don't pay that $25,000 loan, they still get $50,000 worth of Bitcoin if you default. Okay, so it's less risky. That's what gets you the lesser percentage rate. You can do a higher percentage rate if you wanted to. Sometimes people do it with short-term loans. Depends on what you need money for. If you do that, if you do let's say, a 50% loan to value ratio, and it drops 60%, meaning you have more money taken out in the loan than what you have value backing it, right? Lenders don't like that because then they're on the wrong side of things. They will basically either have you restructure the loan, give liquidity to them, or add to your position of what you're backing the loan to. So that, I guess I can't go into too many specifics because I found that if I get into really specific situations with lending, TikTok just bans me from doing lives and videos and stuff. So I don't want to do that. But basically, if you want to know more, I'm going to be doing some more in-depth videos probably in the next couple of weeks on YouTube. So if you want to learn a little bit more about crypto loans and taxation rules and stuff as I know them to be, and I can answer them a little bit more freely, make sure you're following me and subscribing to me over on YouTube, and I'll be able to answer that a little bit better. But hopefully that discussion about crypto loans was what Crypto Keeper was asking about, because I just spent a real long time answering. And I hope that was what he was asking about. Anyhow, great questions. And once again, Jason, Next.io, that's one I'm less familiar with, but I've heard really good stuff about it. I have to get acquainted with it. But it is obviously has a good option for taking out loans. Real quick, tap that screen. Make sure you're throwing me some likes if you feel generous enough to do so. Make sure you're following me if you haven't already. Because I put out videos pretty much daily during the week, anywhere through Monday through Friday. I'm putting anywhere between 1 and 3 videos out. I plan on doing the same thing, during the bear market. I don't plan on going anywhere. This is just conversations that I enjoy. This is my creative outlet. So I like to do crypto entertainment, crypto news, crypto strategies, investment, tax stuff. Never advice, but always just stuff as I know it to be. And then you have to talk to your licensed professionals in those fields to basically validate that it's a good strategy for you. Okay? What's my day job? Hold on. I will answer that once thank you for the rose. Thank you. Very kind, very kind. I want to make sure I'm not missing too much stuff here. Lots of follows. That's what I like to see. Thank you so much. Welcome to the community, everybody. Check it out too. Okay, yeah, I'll check that out. ETH blockchain. I'm a big fan of ETH. I'm a big fan. I know that right now it's got some price gas issues, but all right. I missed what Bitcoin future is. Jason, are you talking about like a future price, or I'm not sure what that means necessarily, but as far as a future price for Bitcoin, I believe that eventually it'll hit 500,000 and 1 million. The only question is when. How long will it take to get there? The reason I say that is because we are constantly printing more US dollars, and that's what we're using to measure this finite amount of Bitcoin, of digital gold, right? So if that dollar amount goes to infinity, the potential value of Bitcoin also goes to infinity. It just depends on what time frame that it gets there. Okay, so how bizarre. What's my day job? So I am a real estate salesperson with my family brokerage here in the area. I sell rural real estate, so anywhere from little townhouses all the way to cabins, hunting land, stuff like that. So I oftentimes get to spend my day walking 40 acres parcels for people that are looking to hunt, looking to farm, looking to do stuff like that. And I'm also a real estate appraiser. Just to make sure that people understand, I am not a tax assessor. That is a different thing. I appraise for estates, divorces, for banks when people are trying to take out loans on stuff. I basically put together the reports. I take a look at what similar properties have sold for, and I come up to a value. So basically, it kind of came second nature to me to value digital property in a way, because I was kind of understanding of real property and how valuations go with those. And that kind of helped me usher into crypto a little bit. So yeah, hopefully that answers that. Do I like VeChain? Absolutely. Here's the thing with VeChain. I don't quite understand what will make it take off, right? And also, I like projects that I need to use. So I like VeChain because it has access to the Chinese market, and obviously to the rest of the world, where if any competitor were to come up, the likelihood that they get approved in China would not be as likely, because VeChain's already there filling that role. However, I don't see how I would use, other than just simply from an investment standpoint, how I would use and benefit from VeChain itself. And maybe that's some ignorance on my part, but if you're able to answer that, that's one thing that I've not really had a good answer to yet, is how, if I invested in VeChain, how do I use that token as other than just an investment, right? So Bitcoin, it's a storage of value. That's its purpose. VeChain, I don't believe is supposed to be a storage value, but rather it helps the network keep track of the supply chain management and all that fun stuff. But you kind of see the point, like, why would I use it? So anyhow, if you're able to answer that, great. If not, then I got my own research to do. Let's see. Crypto is a scam. Probably. There's plenty of scams out there. So I think the biggest misconception with crypto, and it's actually really close to the misconception with a lot of investments, is people from the outside can look at, like, let's say a game of roulette, right? Hey, I put $100 on black and I lost. I lost my money. I was gambling. Damn, right? So other people can do investments. They can throw their money into stock, not do any research on the stock, and lose their money. And they say, well, I invested in such and such a company. So people will be like, oh, you invested and lost money, and I gambled and I lost money. They must be the same thing. So oftentimes with cryptocurrencies, people kind of make that same kind of connection, like, oh, people lose money with it all the time, and the people that are making money don't know what they're doing. There are strategies, and there are ways to research. The difference between gambling and investing is being able to change the statistical likelihood of you making money by researching it. You can't change the statistical likelihood of a roulette table hitting on black if you're betting on black. You can't change that. No matter how much research you do, research isn't going to change that. Same thing with blackjack. I mean, yeah, you can get good at blackjack, but there's a ceiling. You can only learn, and it'll help you out a little bit, right to there. But the house still has the advantage. When you're talking investments, you can research those investments. What's making people want to use that investment or desire that investment, and is it going to continue into the future? After you've done that research and you place your money into it, being crypto in this case, and then the price continues to go up over the long term, hey, you're a smart guy, right? But for those people that invest in it and in the short term, like let's say this week, oh man, I'm losing money. Well, this must not be an investment. This is a speculative scam. That's what they tell themselves because they don't want to put in the work to understand the investment opportunity, right? If you do the research, you have a higher likelihood of making money. If you do the research in gambling, you have no higher likelihood. It is what it is, right? That's kind of half the fun of gambling, is just kind of being able to throw your money and see what happens, play a game, maybe socialize with people, maybe have a drink or two. You don't have that kind of that mindset when you're investing. You want to keep a clear mind and you want to have a clear understanding of why you're putting your money in there. So, let's see. I got to get back to some of these comments. Sorry here. Cool. I enjoy it a lot. Only have a little bit of money in so far. Do you think we should start buying now or wait till bear? Hey, that's a great question, Billy Ba. So my personal opinion, because this is what I do, right? I'm consistently buying. So when it hit all-time highs, I bought a little. When it hit all-time low or local lows, I bought a little. So what I do is, let's say, and this number is going to be different for every person, but let's say you have $1,000, for the simplicity of numbers, $1,000 a month that you want to invest, right? It could be $100, it could be $5, doesn't matter the amount. You have $1,000 every month that you can invest. Spread it out over, maybe you do $250 every week or $500 every 2 weeks. That's what's called dollar cost averaging, where you're taking the risks instead of trying to time it right at that pinpoint, that bottom trough, at the lowest local price that you can possibly get something at. You're probably not going to hit that, right? So what you do is you just consistently throw money in of what you can afford, right? Don't over-invest yourself. That's where you're going to get yourself into trouble. That's where you're going to sell on the dips because you're like, oh my God, I just lost next month's rent. Don't do that. Money that you don't need for whatever period of time you're looking at investing for, could be a month, could be 5 years, depends on what your strategy is. Put that money in over time. And over time, you will average between the lows and the highs, and you're more likely to make that sustainable profit over time. Don't let the volatility scare you. I'm just saying that's what I did, okay? Not financial advice. Okay. Long hold on Solana? Actually, yes. In my opinion, one of the guys that I listen to, he's a macro economist by the name of Raoul Paul. If you haven't heard of him or listened to him, he does a very good job of breaking down his portfolio, which is similar to mine. He obviously follows me or something here. No, I'm just kidding. I listen to a lot of his interviews, and Solana actually has the same growth structure that Ethereum did last bull run. And that gives me a lot of confidence from a technical standpoint, because really when you're talking about these digital networks, these cryptocurrencies, the only thing that will determine growth and value is users. And the more users and the connections between each of those users on that network will grow that price value exponentially, that market cap, okay? So that's one of the reasons why I believe Solana is a great long-term hold, because over time, Bitcoin will grow less, okay? It will, in percentage terms, it will grow less. ETH will grow less. Solana will grow less. But the idea in my head is that I want to slowly take a step down and grab those new growths as they're getting validated, right? Hopefully that makes sense how I'm explaining it. I can be a little bit crazy sometimes, but thank you for the follow, Skaz. I appreciate it. I like XRP, but too much of it basically hinges on the SEC dispute and its resolution. So I hold XRP. I did a one-time purchase of $800 5 years ago. I'm just holding to see what happens. Okay? I'm not a fan. I'm not a skeptic. I'm just seeing what's happening. No, thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, just a quick reminder, tap that screen, give me some likes, check out my profile, check out my links, do all that fun stuff. If you like crypto entertainment, crypto news, crypto strategies, some accounting details that I can possibly answer. I'm not a licensed anything in that field, but I talk to people who are. I come to have my own understanding, and then if I believe I know a topic, either on financing or lending or taxes or whatever, I will tell you. If I don't feel I know it, I will also tell you that I'm a moron in that aspect. Okay, I'm not afraid to be stupid. But when it comes to other people, the biggest thing in this channel is transparency. If I have an answer, I will give it. If I don't, I won't. Invested $30K about 7 weeks ago. Big mistake. I'm down $9K. Curious what you think I should do now. Okay, so it depends on if you overinvested, SkyWest. If you overinvested and you need that money in the short term, you made a mistake. You may want to consider taking, your loss. A lot of people may tell you, great, you can do tax loss harvesting with a wash trade. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just letting you know that's an option that's out there. What you can do is sell your crypto and instantly buy it back so that you have that loss recorded on your books. You then go to your accountant and say, look, I sold for a loss over here. That will count against your income for the year and allow you to pay less in taxes this year. But because you instantly bought back, you should be able to have that same amount of that asset, and with the idea that it's going to grow in the coming months or years, however long you're looking to invest, have that investment in there for, you could then ride that up while having the immediate benefit of paying less in taxes. So that's one option that you can do. You can cut your losses, put it into USDC stablecoin, and let it gain interest on a place like BlockFi, Celsius, or Next.io. Those are other options. Me, if I did that, because I kind of did do that a while back, in 2017, so 5 years ago or so, I actually did something very similar to this, not quite at the 30K amount, but it was a good chunk of change at the time, and the price went down. And my decision was just to hold to the next bull cycle. And I'm telling you right now, that was one of the best decisions I ever made. And it wasn't because I was smart. It was because I didn't know what to do. So I listened to YouTubers, and there were a lot of people that were just saying, listen, long-term hold, it's easy. And I took the easy route, and I don't regret it. I don't believe you'll regret it if you're able to hold on to your investments in the long term, but I also don't know what you bought. So if it was Bitcoin or whatever, and you have confidence in it, stick with it. If that's money that you need now, then talk to your accountant and see how you can make it work for you in the short term. So hopefully that whole rant answered some questions for you, Sky. Thank you so much for the question. Skaz, a lot of research leads to the understanding that only Bitcoin should be invested in. So I kind of get it. I truly do believe that Bitcoin will become the world reserve currency. And I know that sounds crazy, right? That's fine. I'll be the crazy guy in the room. Bitcoin will become the world reserve currency, but I also think that the digital space is so much so in its infancy. We are just starting out. That Bitcoin only services one aspect of digital society, right? A store of value. That's really all it does. It is digital gold. I truly believe that. Oh, and for anyone that's looking for a good read or a good audiobook to listen to, and let me digress for just a moment, the Bitcoin Standard is one of the books that I actually listened to the audiobook multiple times. Absolutely fascinating. I couldn't repeat half the things that I heard, but the beginning of starting to understand how important Bitcoin is starts with the Bitcoin Standard. They start and they take you through currencies and storage of values throughout history and why they gained prominence, and then they explain Bitcoin. So they do a really good job. Even if you're new to finance, I highly encourage it. Listen to the audiobook, read the physical book. I don't care. It was a big help to me, right? So let's see. I got to get caught up on some of these questions. Thank you. Thank you, Sky. This would be probably the last that could ever be done when regs kick in. Yeah, could be. Could be. What do you like? The sandbox is for him. Oh, I love Sandbox. I currently hold Mana, Decentraland. And honestly, if I didn't have the... How do I want to say? I budget myself. So I budget myself for NFTs. I budget myself to throw money into cryptocurrency in general. I budget myself for the metaverse side of things as well. Because I have a very addictive thing where it's just like I could throw money at it and then my wife hates me for a bit. So in order to avoid that, I set myself these budgets, and I've already blown my metaverse budget on mana. If I didn't already do that, Sandbox would definitely be in my portfolio. So I love it. I've never played it. I play, log in, use, whatever you want to call it, onto Decentraland. I've checked that out. I like where it's going. I've read the white papers. Check out my videos where I actually go through showing you that I'm an old fogey. I print off the physical white papers for projects that I want to get into so I can highlight and go over, and for some reason it clicks better than if I'm reading a whole electronic file off the computer because I'm an old man. But yeah, long story short, Sandbox I think is a good play. Will Doge go back up? Yes, I believe it will. Do I think it'll get to anything crazy? No, I don't think so. But Doge is really interesting. Doge is a meme coin. I do not invest in meme coins, right? That doesn't mean it's garbage. That's just my strategy that I don't do. Doge has this like automatic marketing team that's like built into it. And I think anything from like the Dallas Mavericks to Tesla, they now accept Doge for like their Tesla clothes and all that fun stuff. It's this currency token that is being adopted out of popularity, like not out of use case. I do think that it's possible that Shiba over time will kill Doge, or at least suck away from Doge, and I'm more of a long-term player. So if I were to look at what I was going to buy for a meme coin, I'd be looking at Shiba more. But I'm not buying Shiba. So I literally do not have a dog in that fight, right? I don't own either of those. But I think Doge will be volatile for years to come, and that volatility will excite new people to come into the crypto space. So depends on what you, it'll go back up. It'll also go back down. So any thoughts on Luna and Kadena? None on Kadena. I honestly don't know much about that at all. Terra Luna, actually, I just covered this a little bit earlier. Terra Luna's on my bear market list. I have none now, but I plan on actually buying some in the future. So, I'm a big fan of Solana, Luna, Avalanche. Kind of mentioned a few of those earlier. So, Solana does not have the tech to scale. Well, the interesting thing with Solana, I think it has the tech to scale, not currently, but I think it can upgrade its way to that, right? We're not talking about physical items anymore. We're talking about teams and the development network that will grow its value. And if you have a network that grows in value, then it will require the development and upgrades that it needs to take on the scaling mechanisms, right? So I don't think it sits where it needs to be right now, but I think it has potential for the future to evolve, right? Like a Pokemon, into what its final form needs to be. So, but I could be a crazy guy too. You never know. Thank you so much for the likes, everybody. I really do appreciate it. Let's see. Am new here and you're good. Please, what do you think of Wakanda Inu? Okay, so first off, love the name. Wakanda Forever. Absolutely. You can tell by it having a fun name, reference to a Marvel Wakanda place, and then Inu in it, that it's totally meme, right? I don't invest in meme coins. However, that's not to say that you can't make an extreme amount of money on those types of coins. I don't mess with them. So I'm the wrong guy to ask about it. However, I'm happy that you brought that to my attention because I did not know Wakanda Inu existed, and I love the name. So if I just wanted to throw money at a silly thing to see what happens, yeah, it's basically all in the name. Want to smoke a bolt? Probably later today, actually. Absolutely. Absolutely. But thank you for the offer. I appreciate it. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody here. What if Shiba am just knowing you now? Oh, hey, Brian. Well, welcome to the party. I was just saying before, I don't think Doge is anything overly good. I think it's great at introducing new people to the space. Shiba does the same thing with a little bit more utility wrapped in it. I don't own either of them, and that I don't really invest in meme coins all too much. So, Brian, unfortunately, That's about all I know. I don't really give advice on well, I don't give advice on anything, but I especially don't really give an opinion on those because I don't research meme coins too much. Start diving deep into Kadena. It's a monster. Okay, yeah. Might just do that. I have a whole list I got to get through. Crypto just keeps me busy, you know? Like, every time a new project comes up that catches my ear, like, 15 times in a row, I hear it in a video, I'm like, all right, what the heck is this? So I add it to a list, you know? Let's see. Also kind of surprised you don't have Solana in the top 5. Yeah, that's fair. It's up there. It's up there. It's hard to really condense it down to the top 5, but it's close. It's close. It's not a reflection of the cryptocurrency itself. It's a reflection of my confidence in it. So, and I need to do more research. So I don't want you to think that, oh, it's not in the top 5 because I don't like it enough. It's not in the top 5 because I haven't looked into it enough. It's a reflection on me and the time and the lack of time that I've spent on it. So hopefully that answers that there. You touched your nose when you said you don't own any meme coins. Likely untrue. I mean, that's fine too. Also, I live in Wisconsin. Got out from the cold. I don't know what to tell you. I own Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Decentraland, and Chainlink. That's it. Those are the ones I hold. And from answering earlier, I'll tell you, XRP and Chainlink, they're not even in my top 5. You know, they're not my favorite, but I like them enough that I'm invested in them. So I get where you're coming from with the whole like psychology. He did a tell thing. I play poker enough. I get it. But also not lying. Yeah, do what you want with that. You should never fully like just blindly follow anyone that you're talking to on the internet. So I'm not going to try and convince you of that. Quant, I like Quant. NFT Canna Club. I saw your question earlier. Want to smoke a bowl? Absolutely. Sometime in the future. I have a little bit more family functions to do tonight. So, you know, small bowl. What's it called again? Don't know what that is. Oh, top 5 right now in your opinion. So I gave a top 5 earlier. Basically Bitcoin, Ethereum. I don't even know what I picked earlier, honestly. But Solana, Avalanche, Quant, you can throw all those in there. I have like 10 that I could easily interchange into my top 5. So for people that have been here long enough, they're like, what the heck? You didn't say this one before. It's like, yeah, they can rotate. Every like 30 seconds, my top 5 rotates, you know, 3 of them out. You know, anything that's not Bitcoin, Ethereum, those are obviously my 2 biggest drivers. So sorry if I'm inconsistent, but I am consistently telling you that I have a bunch that are just in this basket that could all just be switched into that top 5. Let's see. Pro tip of the day, KDA and Flux. Don't know anything about either of those. Sure. Do your homework, boys and girls, and everyone in between. I have a question about FTM on Binance. It's totally different price. It appears on Voyager. Why? That's a great question. I actually don't use Voyager. For some reason, my bank was having some major issue with Voyager, so I just never resolved it. So I don't know much about Voyager. I don't particularly use Binance. That does not mean that it's not a good coin, that it's not a good platform or anything like that. I just don't use it. And I certainly don't know anything about FTM, which I believe is Phantom. So I know that much. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know much else. Anyways, guys, I'm going to be wrapping up my live right now. Thank you so much for the discussion, the questions. I will be having more lives coming soon. I'm hoping to have more time to do that. We can talk anything about crypto loans, crypto tax strategies, all that fun stuff. I just like having a discussion with y'all. So one final reminder, make sure you're checking out my channel. I put out a bunch of new videos every day during the week. And if you catch me being lucky, I'll throw a couple extra ones on the weekend where I have just a couple extra moments. But typically I like to take a little bit of a break on the weekends. But yeah, check out the videos. Check out my links in the bio. And yeah, check me out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.